We are talking about chronic underemployment of young people in the Chicago area. We're going to talk to someone from UIC about this latest study and about how these first jobs are so important to building your life. What was yours? So one of the people who helped bring this study to light, Matthew Wilson, Associate Director of Economic and Workforce Development at UIC's Great Cities Institute. Welcome, Matthew.
Thanks so much for having me.
So first things first, most important, what was your first job?
My first job, I was a waiter at a retirement home in Urbana, Illinois, where I grew up.
Okay.
And I certainly learned multitasking and how to dress nicely. It was a pretty nice facility, so we had to dress nice. And the social interactions with the residents, I think I learned a lot of good communication skills, learned a lot of great people that I worked alongside, and it was a great experience for me, not just to learn how to show up on time, but learn good customer service.
How old were you?
I was 15.
Okay. And Lisa Lobbin says she was a terrible waiter, server. Were you good?
I think I was good.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
I kind of slid up the ranks pretty quick, and I ended up being a host, actually, when I was 18. So, yeah.
That's the big time.
All right.
Yeah, it was good.
So you authored this study about youth unemployment. It says that youth and young adult joblessness is a normalized crisis. Why do you say that?
That's right. And this particular report was commissioned by the Alternative Schools Network. And typically when the unemployment rate exceeds 10%, there's a national crisis. It's an emergency that the Federal Reserve has to come in and create economic stimulus. Congress acts immediately with big packages. Yet for young people, and we look back 78 years, at the unemployment rate for 16 to 19-year-olds and 20 to 24-year-olds and compare them to prime-age workers. And for prime-age workers, unemployment rate exceeded 10% 1 year. For 16 to 19-year-olds, it exceeded at 74 out of the 78 years that we looked at.
So this isn't just like the recent development where, in more modern terms, 16-year-olds might be encouraged by their parents to view school as their job because they have to get into a good school. This is over almost 80 years.
This is over, and we look at 78 years because we have reliable data, and we look at a few different measures. So one of them is the unemployment rate, which captures people that are actively looking for work but can't find it. We also look at a different measure called the jobless rate, which includes anyone that's not working for any reason. So that includes discouraged workers. And also an out-of-school and out-of-work rate. So people that are completely disconnected from both school and work.
I want to ask Matthew, he was 14 when he worked, as he said, not legally allowed to. Now, your study, it's 16 to 19, as you said, and then 20 to 24, right? Is that the two sort of age buckets?
Yes.
So obviously that's, when people are legally allowed to work. But I have to admit, when I hear this, I read the study, there's a youth joblessness crisis. I think of the states that are rolling back child labor protections. And it makes me nervous. Like, children are not just miniature workers. Children are supposed to, as Mary was saying, learn in school. They're supposed to have fun and enrich themselves in other ways. Why should we be wanting young people to be in the workforce?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think it's a great supplement to school. So I would say that the skills that one can learn on their first job really change their trajectory for long-term employment. So there's a lot of research that shows that youth that enter the labor market during times of recessions actually for decades have their earnings drop just because of the macroeconomic conditions aren't good. And the second thing is a lot of young people say that they want to work and they're looking for work opportunities that supplement school, things that they can do after school, bring in more money, have more structure. And so at our particular event, we had a young people yesterday testifying when we released the report about their conditions of working. And a lot of them talk about how they wanted to work. It's so difficult for them to find access. They cite things like discrimination.
Okay. So it's not about forcing them to work. It's about their kid. There are many, many young people out there who want jobs for many different reasons. One of them being money, obviously. And there's just not the opportunities.
Right. Nothing wrong with that. Severio talks about at a young age kind of learning how to deal with these kind of gross jobs and kind of getting over yourself. Is that something you've seen in your research, that's actually a benefit in the long term?
Yeah, I think the skills, and particularly in a lot of the evaluations of summer youth employment programs, we see that people, in so many different ways, improve. They improve sort of socially. They improve. They get better networks. They get mentors. And there's a lot of really robust evaluations that prove that in so many ways it really changes the trajectory of young people and gives them skills immediately.
And I want to turn to Matthew Wilson from UIC that wrote this story about youth unemployment over the last 78 years. I'm just curious, because manufacturing has dropped so much in the Chicago area, there seems to be less opportunity to get that kind of, like, could you even get a job on an assembly line as a 16-year-old around here for like a shampoo company?
So there's certainly fewer jobs that pay family-sustaining wages that are available for young people and that don't need a lot of training and education. So over the last, since about the 1970s, there's been a huge restructuring of the economy. And we can look at Chicago and think about all the factories that closed on the west side and south sides, and there's much fewer opportunities for people to get work in their own neighborhoods.
So in your report, this seems to be a national issue, but that Chicago and Illinois have an especially big problem here. Can you say why that is?
So there's a lot of racial inequality in Cook County compared to other large counties. So we compare Cook County to 47 other large counties that have good data. And particularly for Black 20 to 24-year-olds, there's a lot of very frightening numbers. Mm-hmm. So the jobless rate is the 6th highest out of the 47 counties we can compare it to for Black to 20 to 24-year-olds. And that disconnection, the both not working and not in school, is 3rd highest out of the 47.
Oh, wow.
So there's the other ones that are around Cook County on this list are other large counties. And I think it speaks to the fact that the construction of the labor market does not absorb young people. And there's also a lot of racial inequality and discrimination that the young people themselves tell us about.
And I think our callers there highlight why that's such a big issue. You know, before Louise, the two callers before that talked about how the job they had helped them get a next job and then the job after that, or talked about how they got connections that helped them get work. If you're not getting a job at between 20 and 24, it's going to be even harder to get work in your mid-20s, or at the very least, you might be getting an entry-level job at 26 instead of being on your, sort of third step up the ladder, right?
Right, and that's how your trajectory of wages go down over your lifetime. And I think one thing that a lot of the research shows is the importance of networks. So a lot of the callers have said that, they got the job through their sibling. I got my first job at the retirement home through my brother. But also when you have concentrated joblessness, and in the report we show sort of the distribution by different areas in Cook County and by neighborhood. Also, those people that aren't working, they can't serve as network connectors to the other people in the neighborhood that are often so important. So there is, I think, it's very important to have, at the neighborhood level, job networks that are functioning, and you can't have that with high rates of joblessness.
And you also have to know your neighbors, which can also be an issue.
Yeah.
Does your report make any suggestions for how at least the Chicago area might improve this kind of structural problem?
Yeah, so as we release this report, a lot of advocates are looking for appropriations at the state level to get young people their first jobs. So this is primarily would target 14 to 24-year-olds, but really trying to, where the labor market is not absorbing people, really try to intervene and have some sort of public funds that are going to getting people their first job.
You know what? I'm sorry, go ahead, Mary.
I was going to say, I know that various cities, including Chicago, have youth summer programs. They're more geared toward high schoolers, as I understand it.
Yeah, they are. And one other thing I was going to say is, you talk to the anti-violence groups like we had on last week. They will have job training programs. And what I've heard from folks is like, we can train people and help them with their resumes, but if there are no jobs or if they don't have connections to jobs, then that kind of goes nowhere.
Right.
Yeah, or if they're placed in the wrong jobs that they don't want and they don't have, I think, last week they spoke of the wraparound services and the importance of not just handing someone a job, but also sometimes they need support.
So thank you, Matthew Wilson, Associate Director of Economic and Workforce Development at the UIC.
I will tell you that coming from the border are millions and millions of people that happen to be taking black jobs. You had the best.
What exactly is a black job, sir?
A black job is anybody that has a job. That's what it is. Anybody that has a job.
All right.
And
Mr.
they're taking the employment away from black people.
We'll talk now about what happens when immigrant labor disappears and why the replacement often isn't American workers, but machines. Most American dairy cows are milked by immigrants, but on one farm in upstate New York, the cows are milked by robots. Yes, these cows walk up to a machine that cleans the udder, attaches the cups, draws the milk, and then dispenses a treat. It's a glimpse of what's already happening in parts of American agriculture, and it raises a bigger question about the political promise that if you cut immigration, Americans will fill those jobs. Because what if the replacement isn't an American worker at all, but a robot? My guest now is Benjamin Applebaum, lead writer on economics and business for the New York Times editorial board and the author of The Economist's Hour. His latest opinion piece is What Replaces Deported Immigrant Workers? Not Americans. And we'll talk about it now. Benjamin, welcome back to WNYC.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Okay, so Binya, you open with this line in your article. Most American dairy cows are milked by immigrants. On Dale Heminger's farm in upstate New York, the cows are milked by robots. So beyond the novelty of that, what else is being automated on farms right now, and what's next?
Yeah, I mean, it's important to understand that automation in agriculture isn't anything new. The amount of human labor required to produce our food has dwindled hugely over the last 100 years. It used to be that most Americans worked in agriculture, and that was necessary to feed the country. And now, less than 1% of Americans work in agriculture, and we still produce a huge surplus of food. So mechanization isn't new, but we're seeing it taken to new lengths, to the point where on some of these farms, there really are hardly any humans around during significant portions of the process. So, on a dairy farm like Mr. Heminger's dairy farm, there are still some human workers, but you've got, the cows walking into booths, giving their milk without any human interaction. He's building a new barn where you're going to have robots roaming around picking up the manure off the floor, robots deciding which cows need to see a veterinarian. Just tasks that once it would have seemed inconceivable to automate are very quickly moving from man to machine.
Another line that really stood out to me in what you wrote is the following. There is a big hole in the seductively simple argument that Mr. Trump's policy will push employers to hire Americans. For many jobs, the cheaper and more likely replacement is a robot. And I think this is an important thread to go down. What do you think people misunderstand when they assume that if immigrant workers are pushed out, American-born workers will simply step into the job?
I think that people understand that immigrant labor is often cheaper than hiring American workers. And that's obviously the huge reason that many employers rely on immigrant labor. What they don't understand is that in between the cost of immigrant labor and the cost of American labor is in many cases the cost of automation. And so if you are deprived of access to immigrant laborers, if you're an employer who can no longer hire those workers, they're no longer available, you're going to figure out what is the next least expensive option. And in many cases, it turns out that the least expensive alternative is not going out into the market and paying whatever it would take to attract American workers. The least expensive alternative is to stop using workers and instead spend some money installing machines.
Let's go to Scott in Soho, who has some thoughts on immigration labor leaving. Scott, hi, welcome to the show.
Yeah, hi. Well, first of all, when tractors were invented, you had to stop plowing fields by hand, which made a big difference. So, of course, once a farmer could afford a tractor, they would do that and then become more productive. And, I just want to say that if your guess is right that yes, people will move to machines to take care of things because automation, is more efficient, probably less headaches. But there's a time before you can do that. Not every farmer is going to go out and buy mechanized milking machines for their cows, until hopefully they can become, afford it, I guess. But in the regular industries, if you're a McDonald's employee or you're, I guess maybe a chicken butcher in a big factory, if you get rid of I would say, migrant labor or people that are willing to work for a lot less than Americans to do the same job, if those people are no longer here, the wages go up for the poor people. And it obviously costs more for the big companies, you know, until they have to get to a point where they have to mechanize or go out of business.
Scott, thank you so much for that call. I appreciate it. I want to break that down a little bit because you talked about two salient things that I want to point out. One, you started off with the tractor analogy of saying, you know, tractors couldn't do it by hand anymore. Eventually people adopted it. And then also you were saying wages will go up. So, Benjamin, how do you respond to both of those threads there?
So, I mean, the first one is where I started, and you can go back before the tractor to the plow, which is the original labor-saving innovation. This has been going on for a long time. That's absolutely true, although we're seeing it push into new territory. And we haven't even touched on AI, but there are some really remarkable things happening with AI in agriculture as well. I write in the article about a machine, the Laser Weeder G2, that uses NVIDIA chips, the state-of-the-art, software to point laser guns at weeds in fields and zap them. Oh, wow. It does the work of 75 people all by itself. So there is continued progress in automation. But I think the caller is pointing out something really important, which is that you can't just flick a switch and automate. Even a farmer who has the capital available, because he's borrowed it or saved it or what have you, to invest in, say, an automated milking machine, if every farm in the country tried to do that tomorrow, there just aren't enough machines. And there are things that can't be automated immediately. And so it is absolutely true that if you removed every immigrant farm worker from the country tomorrow, you could not immediately replace them with machines. And if you're a farmer, you're going to face a choice. But it's important to recognize that there is a choice. And the choice is between hiring American workers at higher wages, assuming you can find them, which is not always clear, and going out of business. People who are assuming that companies will have to hire American workers are ignoring the possibility that there will be companies that find that the wage they would need to pay an American worker is too high to remain profitable, or that even at that wage, they still can't find enough workers. There's not a lot of excess labor in this country right now. And there are examples of farms already saying, listen, if we can't continue to employ immigrant labor, we're just going to go out of business. And Mr. Heminger, who grows cabbage on the other part of his farm, has a nice way of thinking about this. He said, Americans basically need to choose between importing the labor to grow these crops or importing the fruits of that labor from other countries.
You cite Pew Research that shows more than 750,000 immigrants left the U.S. labor force in the first half of 2025, and that immigrants make up more than half of dairy farm labor. When that kind of labor supply, dries up, if you'll excuse the pun, what does it actually trigger in the economy?
Yeah, we don't know, but it is probably not. So there's sort of two directional answers to that question. One is that I think we're seeing that it is triggering a wave of capital investment in automation, that the loss of access to cheap labor is forcing companies to, in some cases, to hire American workers. I want to acknowledge that does happen in some instances, and in some instances they do so at higher wages. But it is also prompting them to invest heavily in automation to find ways of reducing their labor needs. And that's not just happening in agriculture. We've seen Amazon, which is the nation's second largest private employer, announce this massive push into automation in its warehouses that is expected to eliminate the need for tens of thousands of workers in the coming years. We've seen fast food restaurants investing in robots that make French fries, or robots that form patties, or robots that perform other tasks that once you would have needed a low-wage worker to perform. So this is happening across the economy. And the third thing that I think we will see is that some kinds of work will simply no longer be economical to perform in the United States.
Let's go to Joan in Manhattan. Hey, Joan, welcome to the show.
Oh, hi. Yeah, on this issue of whether if you lose your cheap immigrant labor, you will necessarily hire native-born Americans at higher wages. I remember a story, it was about 10, 15 years ago. There was a factory in the Midwest, Minnesota, Michigan, somewhere around there in the north, and they lost many of their workers. I don't know if it was an immigrant raid or whatever it was. Did they hire local people at higher wages? No, they went to the local prison, and they hired prisoners. The prison owners acted like a temp agency, and they hired out the prisoners. The prisoners got, I don't know, 25 cents an hour, and the prison company got, I don't know, $3 an hour or something. So they got cheap labor.
Joan, thank you so much for that call. Let's talk about the bottom line from Heminger. Binya, you write, if American farms cannot import labor from other countries, Americans will have to import the fruit of that labor instead. Translate that into everyday terms. Are we talking about higher food prices, more imports, or American farms shrinking altogether?
So I think all of the above. Imports are going to be more expensive, but it also means that the jobs aren't here, right? So if Mr. Heminger grows cabbage on his farm in upstate New York, as he does, that crop is produced in the United States, and while much of the labor comes from foreign workers who are here on seasonal visas, it is still the case that the farm is owned by an American family. That the trucks that pick up the goods may have American workers, that there's sort of the economic activity is happening in the United States. If those workers can't enter the country, Mr. Heminger says bluntly that he'll go out of business as a cabbage producer. America's need for cabbage will have to be met by importing it from other countries where labor remains cheaper, and less of the economic advantage accrues to the United States. And it's probably also the case that the cabbage becomes more expensive.
How about the moral dimension? Because you argue immigration is a huge economic engine. You've called it America's rocket fuel. A lot of folks would agree with that. But is there compassion in an argument for immigration that basically boils down to we need people to do back-breaking, low-wage work Americans don't want?
I think that, if one were forcing people to do that work, then there would be a moral question about putting them in that situation. But many of the people who are employed on these farms regard it as an enormous opportunity. It is a quality of work and of compensation that is not available to them in the countries that they come from. And so they come here to the United States to do this work voluntarily and are often, quite eager to take advantage of these opportunities. So in that sense, there's a win-win situation where workers are gaining an economic advantage and America is benefiting from their labor. Now, whether they should be paid more is an open question. It's one that's actually the Biden administration pushed to increase wages for agricultural workers on seasonal visas. The Trump administration came out this fall with a policy that would slash those wages and basically, take advantage of the fact that there are a lot of desperate people who are eager to work on American farms. So you can argue about sort of the exact calibration of this relationship, and there's a moral dimension to that. But the basic idea that there are people in other parts of the world who are willing to do work that Americans are not, I think is pretty well founded.
But don't let it be a black and a white one, 'cause they'll slam you down to the street top. Black police showing out for the white cop.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Liz Hurley. In a story you'll see here on 48, a law enforcement officer with a long career now facing charges over stolen honey buns. Yeah, you heard that right. Stolen pastries. WFO 48's investigative reporter Nick Ballinger spoke to Jarvis Moore exclusively after he turned himself into the Morgan County Jail last week. Nick, Moore believes this is retaliation, and he was just following orders.
Well, Liz, Jarvis Moore says he doesn't even eat honey buns because he's a type 2 diabetic. He believes this goes much deeper than those 200 or so calorie snacks. He thinks despite 24 years of service in Morgan County, this is retaliation.
I just want the people to know that I didn't do this, and it is killing me to be plastered all over the world that I'm this and I'm that and I'm not that.
Every day for over 2 decades, Jarvis Moore walked into the Morgan County Jail and went to work.
I've done everything that there is to be done there. Something that I wanted to do ever since I was a child.
But on Friday, he walked through a different door, turning himself in on 7 counts of felony extortion. I've contacted Morgan County officials to get to the bottom of the charges, but due to courthouse renovations, the filings are delayed. Moore was told this stems from his firing in September.
And they told me that I was being terminated for taking honey bun and store items from inmates.
You heard that right. Honey buns. Moore doesn't deny taking the honey buns, but he says he was simply following orders.
This idea's been going on for years and years.
He says when inmates started a fire in the jail, it was policy to take commissary from inmates who started the fire and give to others.
The honey buns were actually given to another inmate to clean up, or the items. There was nothing ever kept in possession. It was used as a tool to stop burning in the jail.
Moore and his attorney Scott Morrow believe this is much bigger than 7 felony counts for 7 honey buns.
It's retaliatory 100%. His problems began specifically when the John Scott incident occurred.
John Scott Jr. died in jail custody in April of last year. This video of Scott Jr. being dragged through the jail was leaked in May. Moore says he was asked multiple times if he was the one who leaked it. He believes it's the main reason he was passed up multiple times to become the first black lieutenant in Morgan County history.
That was one of the main goals that I wanted to do, and that would have been even stronger to help people.
Moore says he was placed on administrative leave each time a position came up.
One thing, he's African American and they don't want him to be a lieutenant. And then because he supported Anna Franklin in that video.
And if she's back in office again, I can assure the citizens of Morgan County you will see significant change.
Moore posted this video 5 weeks before he was charged.
They wanted to keep their thumb on Jarvis and keep him down, and they came up with this honey bun criminal charge.
A spokesperson from the sheriff's office told me this investigation into stolen honey buns started in August and was turned over to the DA in November before the video was posted.
I'm truly not guilty of extortion. The only thing I did wrong was protect the jail and try to secure the jail.
We want justice, and we want everybody treated the same. If you're going to arrest one person for this type of activity in the jail, arrest them all.
Now, after being fired from Morgan County in September, Moore started working in the Madison County Jail. A spokesperson told me Moore was a probationary employee. He was fired once they learned of the felony charges. And a spokesperson from the DA's office tells me an assistant DA who doesn't know Moore will be trying this case.
Privileged black male John Scott Jr. Context of White Supremacy. Gus T. Renegade in for another broadcast, hopefully to share constructive information on the global system of white supremacy, information for non-white people, victims of racism. Today's date, Thursday, February 19, 2026. So I have been told. I think this is our first time back on the air since the late Jesse Jackson Sr. Passed away, privileged black male, passed away, victim of white supremacy, victim of COINTELPRO. Lots of folks have been talking about Chicago in there. Can't get no jobs for young people. Jesse Jackson certainly has talked about black people and employment for young people throughout many years. In fact, I'll play it this weekend, but I could have played it here because they weren't just talking about the workplace. They talked about lots of things. But one anecdote, since there are lots of Jesse Jackson stories going around this week, rightly so, one that I heard, there was a black female, and if she's still with us, it would be awesome to kind of, if they could go talk to her and get more details about all this. But this was on NPR, just so you don't think I'm making things up. But they had a black female. She had some position on the local news, so she would be on TV doing whatever on a nightly basis. She got a vacation. She takes her vacation, and for whatever reason, she got it in her head, I'm going to cease chemically mutilating my hair. Just wear it the way it normally is as a black female. Oh man, what did she do that for? So this young lady sachets back on up to the local television network thinking she's going to get on there and do whatever with her nappy head. You got another thing coming, and what Trump say? You're fired. So they boot her out. This happened in New Jersey, in case people want to check it out. I'll check too. Maybe we can find it. At least get her name. So she gets fired for having her hair normal. Jesse Jackson hears of this. He gets a group together and they go and protest the television station for firing her. They get her job back, natural hair and all, and the reporter who shared this anecdote said, man, I was so inspired by that whole episode, all of it, Jesse Jackson getting her job back and everything, that I also ceased chemically mutilating my hair as a result of this incident. And then she added, much to my mother's chagrin. Now, I super appreciate her adding that on because, I mean, hey, we are all victims and we've all been subject to the same sort of abuse and programming. Beauty con game, Pamela Evans Harris would say. And I'm sure many of us can relate to that in terms of, you know, if you start doing things that look like you are rejecting the white beauty standards. Like, whoa, our parents might. Like, whoa, you, all that kink and... Quite common in the system of white supremacy. We are victims. And Dr. Welsing say, too, we do not qualify for mental health. But this allegedly happened in New Jersey. So, I mean, that certainly would be workplace racism. And I think they said this was in like the 80s, 70s. You could fast forward, you have incidents of the same type of thing happen now, 21st century, like 30, 40 years, you know, down the road. So, progress. Anyhoodles, our weekly installment, the late Jesse Jackson Sr., certainly lots more to say. Certainly did a lot, more than most people I know, in terms of talking about racism, white supremacy. Doesn't matter if you agree or not. Hey, that right there would be more than a whole lot of non-white people can say as a result of an incident of racism. I didn't just sit around and complain. I went and did something and ended up helping to get her job back. Wow. Bravo, Jesse Jackson Sr. And I've heard Mr. Fuller say this repeatedly. In a system of white supremacy, really, the best you can hope for, you pass away, and a whole lot of white and non-white people, they talk about your time here on the planet and the effort that you made to replace white supremacy with justice, because that's what we should be doing. I guarantee if Jesse Jackson Sr. had not made an effort to replace white supremacy with justice, do something, keep hope alive, do something constructive, I guarantee we would not be talking about him right now. Lots of niggers die in Chicago. Oh, well. Messy Jesse, and they would keep it rolling. More to say about Mr. Jackson in the coming days, victim of racism, and he talked about that labor thing frequently. Anywho, our weekly installment. If folks, I would not talk about Jesse Jackson in the workplace, even if I worked around other black people. Oh my God, maybe especially given what I know about black culture in this stalwart Black History Month, maybe especially if I worked with people classified as black, maybe the best you could hope for is you have victims who don't really keep up with the news too much, or maybe they're younger, so they don't. Jesse, what? Huh? They sound like Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad type of thing. Is that the guy from Breaking Bad? Don't even worry about it. Don't even. That's about the best you could hope for. But I would be pleasantly surprised if Jesse Jackson's name came up in a setting of more than two black people, and it was a constructive conversation that did not involve criticizing Mr. Jackson or any other victims of racism, just exchange an honest, accurate recounting of his efforts to replace white supremacy with justice, no name-calling. I would be stunned, pleasantly stunned, if that happened, but I would not bring Jesse Jackson Sr. up in the workplace. I don't think anybody here, their job is to write, historical biographies or, do eulogies or anything like that. I don't think anybody has that sort of job. I don't think anybody here works in the obituary section. So generally, there should be no reason for you to be bringing up Jesse Jackson and, oh, it's so sad and all that. Really, that's just an invitation for something tacky and racist to be said, or some anti-blackness, because lots of folks got criticisms of Jesse Jackson, and really anybody classified as black. Say the same thing if it was President Obama. So I would not bring any of this up. They talk about it. He passed. I'm aware. That's sad. Let's keep it moving. What do you think about? I don't even know. He passed. That's sad. Let's keep it moving. Back to talking about, I say I would not get roped into talking about things that don't have anything to do with the job, because the tackiness is imminent. That's it. Not for spectators. The number to dial, 720-716-7300. The code 564-943 pound. Press star 61 if you would like to participate. Number again, 720-716-7300. The code 564-943 pound. Press star 61 if you would like to participate. Let's end the email. untiljustice@gmail.com. untiljustice@gmail.com. If you particularly, you cannot say Jesse Jackson was no spectator for the duration, even once he got past 55. Now he's, well, I've done my years. I'm going to let the young folks. It kept right on rolling. Any hoodles. Not a spectator. If you figured out some strategies that would be helpful, they don't call you names on the job. They don't wait to come around and say something slick, crude for Negro History Month. They don't wait till now to come up and want to ask you something curious about Jesse Jackson. None of that. You are a valued, respected member of your organization. You are compensated correctly. You don't have to chase anybody down to get your correct wages. Let us know, how did you accomplish this? Like, give us some, specifics. Use policy and procedure. You figure out specific things to say, not say, do, not do. Let us know. See if we can emulate some of your workplace comforts. That number again, 720-716-7300. The code 564-943 pound. Press star 61 if you would like to participate. Quickly, the audio that we heard at the beginning, that first report from Matthew Wilson, University of Illinois at Chicago, his report about young people not getting jobs in the Chicago area and Cook County specifically. If we have non-white parents, you have offspring that are younger, we'll say teens, maybe just starting to be old enough to work, or early 20s, let us know. Has it been challenging for them to get employment? I reckon if you're in that bracket yourself, you can let us know. Has it been challenging to get employment? Do people, I guess, if you have friends in that bracket, or if you have children, if you have siblings, or do you hear them saying, like, their other friends and people that they go to school with, or, man, it's just awful and trying to get a job, can't believe it. And that sort of thing. I know some of the college grads, I've seen a lot of reports, but this is suggesting even younger teens, maybe still in high school type of a thing. They said that this is a massive problem, crisis, that term was used, but they said that this is a massive problem because that those first few jobs that you get, they can be really helpful in networking you and things that you learn about a work environment, like the system of white supremacy, appropriate dress and responsibility and being on time, just lots of lessons that will serve you well as you move through your work career. And even those first jobs, a lot of folks said that's how I moved through my work career. I got that first job on some nepotism or cronyism, and then from that job I made friends or whatever the case may be, or used the nepotism I already had to move up the scale and get another job. Lots of reasons that those first jobs in your career, very important. Now, they talked about Chicago specifically, and I don't know how you could talk about Chicago and not talk about, oh man, the young people not having jobs is especially bad for people classified as black, and then black males specifically. And then they got to some of that later in the report, although not as directly as they should have. And even exactly what they did get to, all that, who do you know, and having a network, and the importance of networking and meeting other people, all of that works especially well if you are classified as white. That's not to say don't network, don't talk to people and all that. Do all of those things. I've said consistently, you want to network not around, sporting activities and the basketball game and the Super Bowl. You want to network around getting constructive information about your job, your career, really. So I've encouraged that from the very beginning in terms of, and I've said for years, even before we had Neutralizing Workplace Racism, I said, hey, when you go on these jobs, because many people, like a shocking number, have interpreted somehow whatever they hear on Neutralizing Workplace Racism and the C.O.W.S, they have interpreted this as go on the job and zip it. I don't say go on the job and be mute. I've never said that. I always speak to everybody. I've said that for years. Dr. Cambon talked about that. Black History Month has talked about that many times. You speak to everybody. Morning Helen, call them by their name. And being curious, asking questions. I've said that from the beginning. Even you start a job, once you get hired, you get a training session, you ask questions, and not just to waste time. Like, there should be a lot of things that you want clarification. So I'm all about the asking questions, talk to folks. It might even be white coworkers, because a lot of times they will have great information. So if you can access that info, great. But I did think it was important for them to mention that, even to mention the difficulty in terms of racism. They didn't say the word racism, but they did mention, I think they said discrimination, and black people having a difficult, young black people having a difficult time getting a job. But then they came back and said that if you don't know your neighbors, you might not necessarily help them get a job or hire them if you are an employer. Now, that's one where, hey, let's be a little bit more honest about the racism in all of this. I mean, this is Chicago. You don't want to know no nigger neighbors. A nigger move into the neighborhood, that's been Beryl Satter, racks of Ta-Nehisi Coates talked about that, and many, many others. You move to packing them in, Dr. Sylvia Hood, Washington. A nigger moves into the neighborhood in Chicago. It's not like, let's go and meet them and take a pie and be nice and introduce ourselves. Maybe we'll check and see if they need employment. Like, oh my God, we might have to burn their house down and then sell our house. Oh Lord, that's, the response. So that I thought was a bit of dishonesty, I'll say, in them suggesting this problem is that white people don't know their Negro neighbors. They don't want to know Negro neighbors, and sometimes in general they don't want to know non-white neighbors, period. The next report that we heard, and they even gave the raw data. One quick thing, because the data was so explicit, they said for black people aged 20 to 24, the jobless rate for Cook County is the 6th highest amongst all the different counties that they looked at for this study. White people have known this like forever in terms of particularly young black people having a difficult time getting employment, starting their career. This is in the Kerner Commission from like 60 years ago, literally. Because Fuller used to talk about this all the time and saying they don't have to do no new reports or nothing. And this was from a report, Matthew Wilson. We don't even need that. They got data that's moldy and old that is still accurate. Young black people, difficult to get the job. And they even, it's so salient because they just had a PBS documentary released this week, and they were talking about the Kerner Commission, and they literally, and it might have been Chicago, I have to go to double check because they went to a lot of cities, but they go to a city like Chicago, and it's a bunch of black dudes on the corner like today, and they go speak to them. What's up, Leroy? Why y'all out on the corners? No jobs. They won't give us no jobs. What are we going to do? We just sit out on the corner. No jobs. White people know this. They don't want to hire Leroy, even if he's qualified. Obese. Monkey. The next report, Benjamin Applebaum. Now, the name enough was enough to give me pause. So I said, I got to go see, is this a white person? Non-white person, to me, looks like a white person. And not ambiguous at all. Just looks like regular white person. Anyway, Mr. Applebaum, he's on WNYC Public Radio. And he's talking about the so-called immigrants. If we get rid of them all, give them the boot, a la Donald Trump president and the ICE folks, that might not necessarily produce an increase in employment for U.S. citizens. And he gave all the reasons why, that it might mean that they turn to bots. It might mean that they close down. It might mean that they turn to prison labor. That was a caller who dialed in to say that I guess she said she couldn't remember the exact location, but somewhere in the Midwest, Michigan, Minnesota, one of those areas where the factory, and she said she didn't remember how they lost their workers, apparently non-white, ICE raid, who knows, but they lost them. And she said as opposed to going to hire white people and pay them a correct wage, oh no, we go get Leroy. We can do it. He shackled all day long. We put a dime in his pocket. Say we contributing to the rehabilitation effort, and we keep it pushing. Might even get some sort of tax incentive, tax break type of a thing, because you can say, hey, we're a business and we employ convicts, so we help them avoid recidivism and help them make a little bit of money, and can say that we invest in the prison too for maintenance and upkeep and all the rest of it. So I mean, hey, that's pretty deal. Mr. Applebaum, who I think is white, unambiguously, he centered a lot of this report around dairy farms, which intrigued me for a million reasons. But he said that the automation that they were talking about, like, so we get rid of the beaners, beat it, go back to Mexico, wherever you're from, we're going to get, wholesome white people, which is what we wanted. They might say, no, not going to do that either. We go raid the penitentiary, or we get a bot. What? And I just didn't know. I guess you can call me ignorant. I don't spend a whole lot of time hanging out on dairy farms, vegetable farms, really any type of farm. I did not know that they have machines that can milk a cow and all the, make better point. Like, what? That is, wow. Keep up with the news and such. Now, granted, everybody, I guess, is not going to get this technology immediately, as in next week and such. But man, towards the latter portion, Mr. Applebaum, and they were talking about, they were talking about morality with all this, in terms of, you got these non-white workers, and they come here, and it's a little dicey doing this work because they're not documented, and the ICE people might get them and, throw them back over the border willy-nilly, even without their attempted family. And they said, well, where's the morality, in all this, making these people come over and do this? And Mr. Applebaum, he said, well, hey, nobody's forcing them. For a lot of these folks, it's an improvement in their quality of life. They get to come and do jobs that Americans, that's I think how he phrased it, that Americans don't want to do. So, hey, it's great. He said, now you can argue, should they be paid better and better this and better that and blah, blah, blah. Man, come on, any back-breaking labor, and even I thought, like, why is it that this is a better alternative than staying in the place where they were born? It would be better for you to come here alone, abandon your family, and, hope you get hired to wash cars or wash dishes. Like, why is my homeland so poor, disorganized? Usual suspects. Oh, I see. Okay. That sort of thing. Like, anywho, and they think it's opportunity to come and do this sort of thing. And even that gave me pause. Because if we just want to talk about the agricultural component of all this and say, okay, we need Pedro Gomez do this back-breaking work. We got old lazy Leroy, shiftless Jamal, worthless so-called retired firefighter. They're not going to lift a grape. Okay, we need Pedro to come over here and pick the greens and get the cabbage out the ground. Okay. Fuller talked, and I'm bringing up Fuller repeatedly about, Fuller brought this up. Mr. Fuller left us a year ago, and Fuller said this like a long time ago, and it is still true. White people could have cleaned all this up a long time ago. Even, we gonna still practice racism and mistreat the niggers. No problem. Why don't y'all fix the problem about the lettuce? If, everybody here is lazy, fat and lazy, we've been eating hound the hog, and we're not going to go out there and pick no strawberries and blueberries and all that. You're barely going to eat a blueberry, much less go pick them. You're not going to do all that. We got to get Pedro. They could have corrected the whole system, do it accurately, legal, what they call it, above board, pay these people correctly. They could have done that a long time ago. No. They like it just how it is. We love it. Come on up here and pick this here fruit, Pedro, and have Pedro scared and vulnerable. Ooh, the ICE people gonna get you. Ooh. Your children go to school, who knows? Ooh, they love that. They gonna catch us and kick us out of here. Ooh. And then, of course, hey, you can't exactly snip. They said that last week, because might be retaliation if we should happen to not pay you but about 50% of what you're owed. Oh, well. We'll get it right next season. This is what they like, practicing racism through, and then even the hand-wring. Ooh, what we gonna do? Ooh, who gonna get the lettuce? Ooh, we gonna have to pay more for the groceries? This is what they like. Even the honey bun of it all. Man, my black brother, privileged black male. Jarvis Moore almost pulled the Fuller. Fuller worked at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. they believe he said for 32 years, right? Crazy. Jarvis Moore worked for the Morgan County Penitentiary 24 years. Man, you got to be inching on retirement. You done stayed someplace. That's a quarter century, man. I think Clinton was president when he started working. I mean, well, maybe not Clinton. George Bush. There we go. Bush the second time around. Wow. That's a long time, I think. Got some listeners probably not even 25 years old. Not going to be working there no 25 years. He did 24. Why? They accused him of stealing honey buns. Honey buns. I'm going to make an assumption. I hope it don't make an ass of me. I've been to Alabama. It's been a minute since I've been, and I don't remember if I was in Morgan County, Alabama specifically. I'm going to hazard they do not have Cinnabon honey buns at the Morgan County Penitentiary. I'm going to even say that they probably don't even have the freshest honey buns at Morgan County Penitentiary. You're telling me that Jarvis Moore, who's worked here for 25 years and is a diabetic, which is easy to believe for us colored folks. They done stuffed us all in these areas, what they call it, food deserts and Cheetos, ultra-processed this. I can totally believe. Yes, I got the diabetes, and the high blood pressure, all of it. I got all of it. But at minimum, he said, yeah, I got high blood pressure and the diabetes. I don't eat no honey buns. Whoa. And I slipped into a diabetic coma in here with these inmates. Whoa, I don't eat. Now, Mr. Moore, Jarvis Moore, he said this was standard operating procedure for years. That someone set a fire in the penitentiary, that alone, like, pause. Do we need to be doing more for workplace safety and making sure they don't burn down the prison as opposed to booting out employees who have 3 decades worth of experience? I'm talking foolish. I'm sorry. Let me get back to it. So Mr. Moore said normal procedure at the prison. They had a fire or whatever. You discipline the inmates, find the person who started the fire, and they confiscate his food. Now, that's real delectable Negro, too. They control us with the food. They go, oh, you done messed around, Leroy. You give me them honey buns. So they take all his food. He said they give it to another inmate. Now, I have never worked at a penitentiary. Never. I do not know what the procedure is, if that's legal, is that common, but I have studied #1 book, Delectable Negro, Human Consumption, Homoeroticism in U.S. Slave Culture is rife with examples just like that. So, I very much believe that, yeah, that could be common practice. We're going to go and take all your food because you did whatever. You know, you shanked somebody or you stole this or you did that or whatever. We're going to take all your honey buns. And he said this wasn't even I took them and ate them or sold them or whatever. We took them and gave them to another inmate. I could totally see how that's legit, and even I could see how that's the sort of thing, even if it's not legit per se, like maybe it's not, official prison code, page 15-2948. I could easily see in Alabama race soldier guards, oh yeah, that's how we, Leroy, you mess around if you want to, Leroy, see what you eat this week. I could even take your soap even. I could easily see that being this is just one of our racist codes. This is how we discipline our boys, Got to keep them in line. Can't let them easily. And so he did it. And it was this nigga. I told you all this, or I began The name I said was Mr. Scott, John Scott Jr. Mr. Moore said, this is not about no honey buns. This is about John Scott Jr., privileged, black male, different one, who was killed, died under suspicious circumstances at the prison, and video got leaked of Mr. Scott and his demise, and they think Mr. Moore did it. Now, even that, is this just a black male privilege thing? We kill a Negro male, and you're a Negro male who work here, and you kind of up it anyway, so we think you did it. That's another one, almost like the fire, like, pause. Is the greater concern that an inmate died here? Or, man, somebody done snitched on. I know that code for sure. I don't know about the stealing the honey buns, but the no snitching, I'm very familiar with that. It might not have even been Mr. Moore. I didn't hear no, yes. I shared the video, put it on TikTok. It was, I didn't hear that. Who knows? He did it. They're going to get that in. And he said, they passed me over for promotions. I've been working here for 25 years. I ain't earned a promotion. Black male privilege, Morgan County, Alabama. Before I get to callers, folks who wrote in, I do just real quick want to tie. So we heard from, I believe that was 2 white people. I know Benjamin Applebaum, white. I think Matthew Wilson, he gave the report about young people not getting jobs. Mr. Wilson said, jobs in Chicago specifically, he said that there's an epidemic of unemployment for young people, gave specific ages, talked about how bad it was, especially non-white people, black people in Chicago. Mr. Applebaum said that we don't have excess labor in the U.S. right now. That's a part of why they need these immigrants or the bots to milk the cows. I said, wait a minute, doesn't that sound contradictory? Mr. Wilson said we got epic unemployment crisis in Cook County, and particularly black males. Mr. Applebaum, New York Public Radio, says, hey, we don't have a lot of excess labor. Which is it? We've had chronic black unemployment, so it's got to be some excess black labor. Now, I'm not saying that they want to go and do the back-breaking labor, but it can't be that we just got tons and tons of, folks, everybody working and got great jobs. And I mean, all of them folks that just got cut from Doge, Department of Education, and all the rest of it, black federal employees in particular, black females, they've been saying. Really? I don't know, Mr. If I had to pick one, do I think we got chronic unemployment, particularly with young people, or do we have not too much excess labor around? I think it's the first one. I think there is a lot of excess, even a lot of skilled excess labor, because they said the folks at Stanford, they were nervous and biting their nails too, like, oh my Lord, we got this hefty Stanford bill and this hefty Stanford degree, and I don't know if I'm going to get a job at all. That don't sound like, we ain't got no excess labor. False. I could be wrong. Star 61, the number again, 720-716-7300. Let's see. Folks who dialed in, if you have commentary to share, a victim in New Jersey should be with us.
Hey, Gus. Yeah, so I definitely agree with you. I second that. I mean, it's just, it's amazing when you get these reports of just rampant unemployment of black males, but then, they want to implement, AI to fill jobs, or or what they call immigrants, because, there's a labor shortage. So, it contradicts itself, these reports. But so I just have 2 reports. One will be more of a complaint. The second one will be a mistake in the workplace that I committed that I'm sure I won't offense I won't commit again. So I start with the mistake. So I do deliveries, drive trucks. Normally, I interact with the customers, but we do have what they call key stops, where we have keys where we can, they give us the code for the alarm, they give us the keys, we get instructions on our manifest where the customer wants us to place the stuff they ordered. So, this particular customer, I deliver there, never no problem. I stack it where it needs to go. But one time there was like a case of cream cheese. The cream cheese is like bulk cream cheese, but it's like the liquefied cream cheese, and it's a case and there's individual packages. So I think I might have put it down hard, and one of the packages bust. Now, when a customer contacts a salesperson or the company, we get penalized because we do get a extra incentive or bonus for completing the job with no complaints. So one of the bags busts, customer complains, so I lose that day. So a day I went in, I'm not sure if I had to go back because I made a mistake. So now when I enter the restaurant, the customer is there, the supervisor. So there's somebody there. So I didn't think I said anything aggressive, or I was aggressive, and the suggestion that I made, and the suggestion was simply, I said, hey, I'm your normal driver. So I said, you know what, next time, take my number. And if there's any issues with the delivery, just give me a call. He was hesitant to do that, and it was kind of awkward. I don't really remember the exchange, but I left without giving my number. So not a problem. So another occasion I come in. Now this is I get there late, so now I'm making a delivery while the customer is there. And sometimes, we're kind of working on time. You try to get in and get out, so the fast as you can. So this is normally a customer that I would drop. No one's there. So now, being though I got there late and someone was there, he wants to check it. So now I'm like, I was like, hey, don't worry about it. Everything's there, because normally I'll just sign for it, deliver it, and leave. No, it's my job. I got to check everything. Not a problem. So last Friday, I go inside, and he's there. And I left something that wasn't his there. So I go back, and he has an issue with a box. And he says, hey, I got an issue. And I was joking, Gus. This is the error. I was joking. And I said, no, I'm not taking that back. And he went off. Oh, do your job. You should do your job. I do my job. You do your job. So, I pause. I'm like, so, I go into think mode. So I'm like, okay, this guy, he's kind of frustrating me when he made that statement, do my job. And I'm like, okay, that kind of angered me a little bit. So we have not really an exchange. And then he brought up the day when I suggested that he call me if you have an issue instead of calling a salesperson or the company. He interpreted my demeanor as being aggressive and rude. And I explained to him, I said, I only suggested that so you don't have to basically wait for me to come back to pick an item up. I can just return while I'm on the route, pick it up, take it out of there. or if you have any other issues, being though this is a drop and you would have to wait maybe a few days or the next delivery for this anything to be corrected, you can call me. I'll come back and correct it, you know. And it was also just basically to save me from maybe getting penalized, you know, for the day if I made an error. So, he just kept explaining. I said, and as far as me saying I was not going to take the box back, sir, I was joking. No, you wasn't joking. You didn't look like you was joking. So, you know, I'm trying to de-escalate it without me, because I'm starting to get upset. He's just continuously, repetitiously saying the same thing over and over again. I said, look, I got it. Understand what you just said. I won't joke with you. I apologize. Explained it a few times. Ended up, you know, letting him know, listen, shook his hand, said, hey, you want that box to go back? You got a problem? I'll take it. Not a problem. Took the box, corrected his bill so he'll get credit, and I left. You know what I mean? Normally I have relationships with customers. You know, it's friendly. I don't really joke all the time, but normally that wouldn't be an offense that would escalate to the level it almost escalated. So, mental note to myself, professional, courteous, do not joke with these people, you know, and stay with company policy. I'm not giving nobody my number. You can do what you do. I'll just lose out on a bonus. Just call a company. So I won't even suggest something like that again. Now, my complaint, that was my error, my complaint, if I have a little bit more time. So I had an issue with the truck, came to my supervisor, complained about it. The tractor trailer, for some reason, wasn't charging the trailer, because the trailer also has exhaust power that comes from the tractor. That's how I'm able to operate the liftgate. If the liftgate lose power, I cannot do my deliveries, because I will not be able to basically pull the liftgate down, which blocks my access to the back of the truck. I went to a supervisor. I reported it just like I should report it. It seems like my supervisor or the truck route man or the truck manager, the guy who's responsible for the fleet, he began to kind of get irritated, as if I didn't know what I was talking about, because I drive this truck all the time. And when the trailer and the tractor is connected properly and power is being distributed properly, the light on the trailer turns green. When there isn't any voltage, it turns orange. Every other truck was green except mine. So not even being a mechanic, and me reading the back of the truck of what that meant, there was a problem. I constantly complained, and he said, well, no other driver is having this issue but you. I said, look, please just check the truck out, because I don't want to be out making a delivery and the lift gate fails and I'm out there waiting for repair, and I'm inconvenienced. Now, I gave fair warning. I sent text messages. I sent emails about the matter. They said they was going to handle it. They never handled it. Eventually, what I believe was going to happen, happened. And it was exactly what I suspected it to be. The tractor was not pushing out adequate power to the trailer. So eventually they fixed it, and the supervisor, he was a little bit more humble, because I'm estimating that he realized that I was right, and he erred. It was an error on his part. So he began to be a little bit more helpful. His tone was a little different. But, why should I even have to go through that when you could have basically just solved the issue that I reported with, and I wouldn't be out stranded for 2 hours into a mechanic came out and fixed the tractor. So I have to basically, what I'm going to do moving forward, if there is an issue with the truck, because we do have an option to put a red tag on the truck, meaning that the truck needs to be repaired instead of relying on text messages and emails and thinking that they're going to solve the problem. I'm just going to put the truck out of commission until they fix it. And they're just going to have to give me another truck. So that's how I'm going to solve that problem. So, I'll close.
Much obliged for sharing. What was the temperature, if I may ask, when you had to chill for 2 hours waiting on them to get the truck taken care of?
Oh, that was the week where in New Jersey the temperature was like 4 degrees. Sometimes it felt like -3. It was one of those days.
Balmy. Hopefully you had, a fully charged phone so you could get some Chris Rock jokes or Cat Williams, keep your spirits up for Negro History Month in the midst of all of that. That is so, especially because he did everything correctly. Let them know, hey, everybody else got the green light. I'm orange. Got a problem here. That's the time. I was thinking, because the temperature now in New York City area is like 35, 34, which to me is frigid. Like, oh my God, you tell me you're going to have to hang outside for 2 hours in 35-degree weather. I might cry.
Gus,
oh my God. Go ahead.
Gus, if I can interject, if those couple of weeks that it was 4 degrees and at times where it felt like it was at negative numbers, 30 degrees right now feels like the summertime.
I bet. I bet. Oh my God. That is death. I was saying death that is for real. I know here it drops below 25. It's whoa. Emergency shelters and all that. They get all the crackhead white people off the street and everything. Whoa. You could die. You sit out here. Man, you got to come inside. 4 degrees. Come on. That is for sure. If I had to sit out for 10 minutes in 4 degrees, new code, flag the truck, put it out of commission. And that's so trifling because that is basic policy. And that is a safety issue. If you have to sit outside in 4-degree weather, that is that's like a life and death issue, really. Man, come on. Work, and he did everything correct. Emailed them, got an electronic trail of all the context. There's a problem, policy and procedure, and then they don't do anything about it, and this is the result. New code, I love it. Flag, out of commission, give me a new vehicle. Not going through that. It's 4 degrees. Come on. I'm super sorry you had to endure that one, man. Even the pretend guilt of it all, man. I would be so mortified. Are you serious? He could have died, and we're sitting here messing around, and whew. Anyway, the first, kind of series of reports, that's the sort of thing that I've talked about also for years. None of this really is the most enjoyable thing, to call. Man, Gus T, I have been so excited. I can't wait to tell you how I got stuck out in the cold at 0. Man, that was the best time of my life, man. I sat in there and listened to Al Sharpton, Chris Rock. Oh, man, you wouldn't believe it. Can't wait to do it again. Who? What? Workplace racism general, unless you figure out some things to get a raise. We've had a few of those here and there, and even that seems like it's got some tackiness. People get a new job, that sort of thing. But for the most part, it's not really anything to celebrate. It's a lot of us being mistreated. It is super important to share just so that we can see, like, oh, they do the same types of things. And that safety one, that is massive. Our privileged black brother who drives the school bus, he says the same thing. We're there in the school bus. Exact same thing. He'll report, hey, we got safety violation. The brakes need changing. Shut up. Okay, but the children got to... Shut up. Advocate safety. Counter racism for you. It might be safety. And think of your own safety. In fact, think of that, especially anybody you drive. Like, oh, man, 4 degrees? Whew. Victim in New Jersey, he accustomed to cold weather. See, they live and go to school and all that. I would have died. Like, oh my God, I think I'd have had frostbitten everything. The first situation with the deliveries, I guess one, he realized I made an error. Do better. Even when he shared with the cream cheese, now with that, I'm sure that sort of thing happens pretty regularly. Ranch, cream cheese, anything like that. Juicy type or whatever, bottled, liquidy delivery where something happens and package bursts open and leaks out. I'm sure, but it did come to mind the cream cheese. You have the violation of the whiteness. Oh, the creamy white is, the nigger has messed it up. I did think of that, but either or. I'm sure that sort of thing happens on a regular basis. Let's just get it swapped out or whatever the procedure is so he doesn't get billed and keep it moving. So from there, I don't know if he had an attitude from that point, because I think that was, we get the call and all that. Might have had an attitude from there. You go back in, which sounds to me, the way you explained it, very believable. Hey, something happens. Here's my number. Give me a call. That makes sense. If this is normally, as you explained it, a drop, and you would just drop off whatever his parcels are, leave, it wouldn't be any exchange, and then he might not see you again until whenever the next delivery is, or it might be a long interval in between. If there's a problem, I can get this corrected right now. That, at least to me, that seems logical, and particularly, like I said, for something like cream cheese, I could see where that might happen. Hopefully it won't, but I could see where that might happen from time to time. If I can call, helpful nigger, I can call him, he'll circle back, pick it up, make it right, take it off our bill immediately. Hey, right on. Okay, good to know. But system of white supremacy, and even I could see where a lot of individuals who are classified as not white might have the exact same response. Like, what? Who is this? Negro? I don't want to call you. What? You think I'm trying to get drugs from you? Like, I'm going to call and report that too. Like, I could totally see a number of people having that response. Like I said, I totally get it. I don't see anything incorrect, especially if I'm the regular driver. But they wouldn't know that, I guess, because it's a drop. But yeah, you are a nigger and what? I'm the regular driver. You're a nigger and what? Got it. Never mind. Don't even worry about it. Keep it rolling. I would say, if that's how this person responds to, like I said, the way you explained it to me, other people, I guess they can let us know if they, I guess for future reference for other people who do deliveries or DoorDash, anything like that. Maybe it might be best to not offer the phone number. They might think, what? Is he selling drugs? What? Is he trying to get my number? Whatever they might, be going. Like, to me, it does seem very reasonable, very professional. I got it. No problem. Appreciate it. But system of white supremacy, hey. But I think that would have influenced my conduct. Like, okay, this person is not even receptive to, I'm looking out for both of us. I can be helpful in getting something taken care of. If it's a problem, come back right now and take care of it, and I take care of my daily bonus. Win-win for everybody. Whoopee. He's not even on that. Ugh, get away from me, nigga. No problem. I will be extra careful with this customer. Take this back. Yes, sir. And I'm also on the make it short, because that's also the thing with jokes. Now I'm, extending the interaction, because even if he finds it funny, okay, you're going to take back what now? We just, yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Get our hand up and keep it moving. Keep it moving. But yeah, you already, that's just, so now we got two. Like, what? Nigga, you going to take it back. You're going to do your job, nigga. He was about to Chris Rock you so bad. Like, what? I will bust you up. So you're going to take this back right now, nigga. Who do you think you are sitting here? And you said, that's kind of the way he talking to you. You're going to do your job, boy. Who do you think you are talking to me? You sass me and tell me you're not going to take something back. I'll call the people. that nigga. Like, that's two interactions. I can sum all that up. Nigga. Got it. No joking around. No nothing, sir. And that's also why I say composure as well, because he said, victim in New Jersey, I was getting upset. I felt like he was basically calling me nigger, which he was. And I could feel myself getting upset. To calm down, I will take it back, take it off your order. And I'm sure he's still upset, because at that point, this nigger, then I told you, you done violated my creamy whiteness. You done came back in here this time and messed over this box. Now you gonna sass me and tell me what you're not? But it's sounding like the monkey. But no. What? Ooh. Ooh. That's why he was wound up then, boy. Like, ooh. Give me your number so I can buy some crack from you. That's what they think of us. Like, it's Negro History Month. That's what they think of us. That's what they think of us. He was, I got to check it. You might have stole something. Try and get over on me. Or slip some crack in there. Anything. He already said, no joking around. And that, like, man, he said, I have rapport with customers. I'm the regular driver. You might see me for a while. For some race soldiers, that does not mean a thing. Like, you're just the nigger that I see a while. Got it. I'll make sure. Be extra careful with the cream cheese. No jokes. Sorry you had to experience all that as well, but man, that is black male privilege in the tri-state area. That might be a lesson to all of us. Do not violate the whiteness. You have to deliver cream cheese, mayonnaise, yogurt. Be very careful. They will beat your hind parts. Good boy. Let them come out and see some cream cheese all over the porch. Whew. Much obliged, victim in New Jersey. Stay warm. Let's see. Other folks who dialed in. I guess you all can let us know. Like, I might be ignorant. I might be totally ignorant. The phone number, because I think that's reasonable. Is that something you all think we shouldn't do? Because other people might have a similar reaction where racists think you did something incorrect by offering the phone number, or unprofessional, or you think you're trying to solicit them for something nefarious. Like, I didn't think any of that. I thought it was totally reasonable, exactly the way he explained it, but I might be ignorant. Other folks can let us know about that, and then other folks, if you have your either suggestions to help us avoid predicaments like that, or if you have your own situation, let us know. I believe the aforementioned privileged black male, Tumblin Dice, with us as well.
Hi, good evening, Gus. Thanks for letting me share. There's a lot of construction going on, where they're doing construction where I work at. And I went out, they tell us we're responsible for our own parking. So I went out and I bought a brand new cone. And I put the name on my cone. So last week I was approached by two supervisors, and they're accusing me of stealing the cone. They said that the cone looks similar to the one across the street from the construction site, and that I probably stole one of the cones. And I have the receipt. Luckily, I have the receipt for the cone. And, they called me in and they, asking me questions, where did I get the cone from, who I bought it from, and all that stuff. Because someone complained that they saw me stole the cone from across where they were doing the construction on the street. So, and then another incident happened right after that. They accusing me stealing overtime. They said that I put down 30 minutes extra on my overtime. And it wasn't that. It was a situation where the parents didn't come to pick up their kids. And luckily I had an aide on the bus, and she was on the bus, and she instructed me to wait the extra 30 minutes. So I put the extra 30 minutes, and I documented it in there that the aide, but still they claimed that I stole it. So I had to go get the aide. had to bring the aide in as my witness, and she said that she was the one that authorized me to stay over. So after that, man, I just took off stress for the whole week. So I just got back to work today, man. So I took off the whole week, didn't answer my phone, didn't call. So, today, I just got back today. So no one didn't mess with me today, but I wanted to share that. Thanks for letting me share.
Woo! Jesus, I'm so glad I was muted. My privileged black brother, Tumblin Dice, was stealing weed whackers first. They were going to go rummage through his vehicle, and I said then, hey, produce a warrant. I did not dream that we would be back. It's not funny. I shouldn't be laughing, but whew, I did not dream we would be back. Black History Month 2026. He said the construction is happening across the sorry. He said the construction is happening across the street. They said, what this nigger done got? Because they responsible for their own parking. When he started and he said, they told us we're responsible for our own parking. So I went and got a cone. I said, oh my God, that is so constructive. Wow. What a great idea. Like, wow. He's got that big bus and all that safety. And I'd even suggested that before. We had a black male. He was doing deliveries. And they got into a kerfuffle about the delivery. And I said, hey, do y'all have cones? You should use them. Keep people, that can. A lot of folks, they just see the cone like, oh, I don't know what's happened here. Construction. And then you got a school bus too. It might be the school bus is broken down. Who knows? I'm going to avoid the cone and all that. They said, I guess that was not their first thought. Wow, we got a smart nigger here. He went and got a cone. We did tell him, you got to do your own parking. Y'all responsible. Their first thought was, Tumblin Dice done looted the construction. Can't get up. Woo, man. As he was saying it, I was trying to stop laughing, which I'm still struggling with, as you can hear. But when he said, like, I kept the receipt, I remember the weed whacker. I'm sorry. He said, I kept the receipt. I was trying to think, wait a minute. Like, I robbed the like, what? I can't even get up. Like, I don't even know what the appropriate response is. Like, you robbed the construction site? What? Has anyone from the construction site, like, been here to accuse us of stealing? I've never even heard of it. Like, I've heard people stealing equipment from construction sites, and you better watch those brand new doorknobs. Like, they will steal all of that. Yep, copper. Yep, wiring. The cones, man. And a lot of times it's not like they got brand new cones at the construction site. Like, they got mud and dried cement, and white people are kind of reckless with urine sometimes. And I mean, I don't even know what to say. Like, I guess on one hand, I guess, yeah, it's glad you kept the receipt, but then, like, what? I stole from the construction. Wow. I mean, I think for a millisecond, I was thinking, oh, they're going to say he stole their cone. No. You went across the street to do your looting this time. Man, I guess right on, he got the receipt, and then they show him the receipt, and it's accusation number 2. I can't get up. You have been stealing our time. I gotta go get the aid. I had a witness. In fact, what we got here is shiftless white parents. It might be. I could be wrong. Maybe it's non-white parents. Who knows? But either way, a parent's not on time, and he's got to wait for them to come and get little Junior. And he got to go get the aide to testify. Oh, yes, I did authorize. He was not shooting dice. He was not pilfering company time. He was actually here. We had shiftless parents who were tardy in getting their offspring. Negro History Month. I guess I could take both of these to say, number 1 for the workplace, in spite of Gus's ignorant laughter. This is no joke. Composure is number 1. Either of these situations could have went way different. When that dude at the restaurant, when he went off, you done messed up my order and you didn't do right, and victim in New Jersey, I'll kill you. What do you mean telling me no, you're not going to take it back? Boy, he could have got rowdy. And let's step outside. You don't talk to me, and I'm victim in New Jersey. You done stole a cone. What? I done had it up to here with you crackers, and you done accused me of stealing the weed whacker. Now it's the cone, and I done bought this cone, and I killed something. And even, that might be what they want. We'll get him. We come in and we accuse him, you tried to rape a white woman, and you stole our weed whacker, and you stole the cone, and you stealing company time. It's funny, but everything I just said is true. They did over a wide spectrum, but all of it, even raping a white woman, all of it. It is. Hey, we'll get him this time. He gonna lose it today. He gonna curse one of us or smack us upside the head. We'll be ready. We'll call the police. We'll charge him. Then we'll go through his vehicle and see how much and get up. Oh my God! I'm sorry. He did not call in to get Chris Rock and Cat Williams. That was not our intent today at all. No joking in the workplace. No joking in the workplace. Woo! Getting it together. I don't even know if I would say, like, keep your receipt, because, dang, how many receipts do I have to keep? I got to keep my receipt for the weed whacker, my safety.
Could I have a large Coke?
I just don't know how many receipts one, is going to be able to stockpile in a system of white supremacy racism.
Just one large Coke.
make sure. I guess, folks, if you have to nab your snacks and vittles, I would nab mine as well if I was being terrorized on the job. But yeah, I just don't know how many receipts you can. I guess that's what I was thinking when he said he kept his receipt for the cone. How many receipts can you keep? It's 2026. I know you can whip out that phone and click. That's what I recommend anyway. If it's a workplace receipt, click, put the receipt. It'll be digital. You'll have it forever. But how many receipts am I supposed to hold on to? What am I going to get accused of stealing today? I might have my own stapler. I might have my own plunger. Schools have a lot of property. And apparently, if you're going to be accused of stealing from the neighbors, oh man, I have my own hammer. I just don't know how many receipts I can hold on to. How much am I going to be? I might even ask, what am I going to be accused of stealing tomorrow? Just so I'll know what receipts I need to hold on to. And I'm not even being facetious. Like at this point, like, seriously, remember, and I would remind them, remember the weed whacker you all wanted to go through my vehicle? Then, and after the cone incident, now it's on everything in life, unless I signed a piece of paper that says my employer is authorized to search my property, my person, my vehicle. If there's an allegation of theft in the workplace, unless I sign something like that as a condition of my employment, there is no way under any circumstances, I don't care what happened, what got stolen, who got killed, albino chipmunk is missing, I don't care. The answer forever would be absolutely not. There's no discussion. You're going to lose your job. And we're going to... Oh, well. You are not... I've been in... I would remind them. Do you remember you asked to search my vehicle for the weed whacker? I don't know what they were going to do about the cone. Like, we got to go... What if I didn't have the... And I might even have to ask that. So, if I didn't have a receipt for this cone, what would be the procedure? And also, I'm not, you don't hear me snickering now. Like, woo-wee. I was laughing a lot. I am super serious. What is the procedure if I had lost my receipt? Paid in cash. Been given this cone by my neighbor, parent, mother. Found it in an alley. What would have been the procedure then? Question. I'd like an answer in writing, in fact. And I'm also very serious. What am I going to be accused of stealing tomorrow so I'll know what receipts I need to find? Weed whacker, cone, what's next? I have a lot of property. Do I need to verify that I purchased everything that I own legally? My vehicle, breeches that I'm wearing right now? I would have to ask, like, oh man, because this is short enough succession that I remember the weed whacker and it didn't happen to me. I'm definitely going to remember the construction because I ain't never heard that before. Like, do people steal cones from the construction site? They don't, I mean, they normally put the fence up and things, you know, to keep people out and all the rest of it. They don't seem too worried about the cones. Come on. That's kind of up there with stealing cardboard boxes, like keeping it real. Woo! Now I'm back to, I almost had it. I almost had it. Woo! Thank you. That's 2 in a row. Thank you for sharing because that's not fun as well. And I cannot miss. Forgive me for laughing. I'm glad I was able to get it together when I was super serious about the questions I would ask. He said I took the rest of the week off. Brilliant. mental health. We do not qualify, and all those allegations, that's why we don't qualify for mental health, that and a whole lot more. But that, I mean, hey, how many times can you get accused of theft before it starts to mess with you a little bit? And I mean, not even big time theft. Like you went out and hit the jewelry store, the diamond ring, a construction cone. He took the rest of the week off. Love it. I was waiting because he said sometimes he'll take time off and they call him to be trifling. Hey, Tumblin Dice, you just called to check to make sure you weren't doing no stealing, and we got all our weed whackers counted, so I guess. I'm sorry. I'm going to take another caller and get my act together. I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm going to do better. Thank you, Tumblin Dice, for sharing. I checked back in to make sure you didn't have a suggestion. I just don't know how many receipts. If I'm being ignorant, you all can let me know on that one too. But I don't know if that's a reasonable expectation to keep receipts for everything because I'm going to be accused of theft on the job. Like, what? Come on, man. What is the procedure if I don't have a receipt and I'm going to be accused of stealing dinner plates, silverware, thumbtacks? Nick over the road, did you have, hey, you do the driving thing. Is that I thought it was professional. If you had to do if you were like a regular, doing regular deliveries for one specific customer, and you know you're going to see this customer do deliveries for them for like weeks, maybe months, long time. Is that professional? Say, hey, if you have a problem, this is my number. Let me know. That way I can correct it or get anything. Just, drop me a line. Is that a professional thing to do if you have a regular client you do deliveries for?
You know what? I'm gonna have to say no.
You said say it one more time, please.
No.
Okay.
No. And the reason I say that is because of contracts. They have a contract, and a lot of the stuff in that contract that they have with the courier, they don't make a lot of that information privy to the driver. So they have like processes and stuff going on between each other that we're not responsible for. So, and it could get like that. I've done it. I've serviced a contract, and I'll see them do things, and I'll be like, oh, okay, well, that's how they do it. So, you know what, hey, give me a call and whatnot, and come to find out that is not what the contract says. And we'll place ourselves in a position where we are not even responsible to do certain things. I would want it to be like that, but they don't make us privy to the contract so we can see exactly how things are supposed to go. Yeah, I would say no because of that. I want to run off some points that are not going to be in order or whatnot. But just let me know if you can't hear me at any point because I'm on this on the internet. Duties and responsibilities, your employee manual. Okay? We have to stick to that. The racist white supremacists, they like to work outside of that, and that's where they have their fun with us. I stick to my exact duties and responsibilities and the employee manual. The moment they suggest something outside of that, I ask them, where is that in the employee manual? Where is this? So I could be aware of it. If not, I deny it. Anytime they come to me with a complaint, can I see it in writing? Did somebody put their name on this? And exactly what did they say? So I know what I'm responding to. If they don't have that, I just tell them I'm unaware. I'm not sure what you're talking. See, I don't know if it's a legal maxim, but it's close to one. The spoken word goes out the window, the written word stays forever. And so if they don't put it in writing, they use that mouth. Because every time they open their mouth by default, I suspect that they are lying. And they are enjoying themselves by doing it. Those bonus programs. I heard the brother mention that he's just going to have to miss out on the bonus. Listen, we have a bonus program where I work at, And it is really not to us, and it's safety related. Get cut off by a car, we're supposed to hit the brakes. I've hit the brakes. They will tell me I didn't hit the brakes hard enough. So I would get some safety violation points, and I'll miss a bonus for a pay period. So that's one of the ways that they like to play their game. Well, these races are diabolical. Using your own equipment. When we used to go into these warehouses, if you were not qualified to use that pallet jack or that forklift, we were not to touch it. So we, get training, assessed on it, qualified to use it. Do not use your own equipment, and I would say including a traffic cone. I would submit that in writing to them that there's a safety issue at this specific location, and without a cone, I'm not sure if I can't be responsible for that. And have, so maybe suggest some things to have them investigate. And yeah, keep your receipts. If you feel the need to do that, keep a receipt, and so you can be able to present it. So, because it just to end that. Okay, I spoke about the contract knowledge. Listen, everybody, you have to have a voice recorder. Do not use your cell phone. Go get a Sony, a Panasonic off of Amazon, because those microphones are specifically designed to pick up voices. Get yourself a voice recorder before you step out of your house. Hit record, because you want to get the entire conversation. And don't turn it off until you get into your house. A lot of them will last 12 to 18 hours. Get the entire conversation. And depending on your company policy or maybe the laws in your state, I wear that body cam dead center of my chest where they can see that red light flashing. And the way they behave with me, I've had less conversations with people just from having that body camera on. They'll look at me and I'll see their wheels start spinning in their mind like they want to do something. As soon as I see their gaze go down and spot their camera, I see nothing but smiling faces. I've even been offered things that I didn't even know was available to me, because maybe they thinking I'm some kind of quality assurance check. So get those voice recorders, get that body camera, stick to your duties and response. They hired us for it. They hired us to stick to that. So what's not included in that, you don't do. Do exactly what's in there and keep that written record. I yield for now. Thanks.
Much obliged, Nick. Over the road, policy and procedure. That first one comes up all the time in terms of someone white. Sometimes it'll be someone non-white too, but most often someone classified as white will come along and encourage, or sometimes they'll out and out direct a non-white person to do something that is a total violation of policy and procedure. Where is that in the manual? Excellent. Love it. Always go back to policy and procedure, because man, they will, as you said, they will do that all the time, try to get us directly to go even encourage and or out and out tell us to do things that they know violation of policy and procedure. Getting the complaints in writing, also excellent suggestion. As he said, that way you know exactly what you are responding to, not no vague hearsay, and I think they said that you might have done it. Come on, let's be serious. His recommendation, not using personal property in the workplace. And that's when we've talked about before, getting the school to purchase the cone. Now, really, I think the school, they should have cones. Like, cones are plenty. But even if they don't, get the school to purchase a cone that can be used on the bus That way, no personal property. That one I think is great as well. Even though I think the school, they should, if they don't, that just further shows white people do not care about children. Let me check, see if Tumblin Dice, if he's with us. Let's see. Yes, he is still. Is that possible? Can the school, one, I guess, do they have cones, and or do you think you can ask them, hey, we'll never have this problem again. You all buy a cone, and I'll use that one for parking every time. Maybe even keep that one on the bus, and that way it's the school's cone. I'm not using my cone. I didn't steal anything, and you know where I got it from, and we still get the safety benefit for the children. Does that work? And did they not have cones? Like, is that serious? They don't have cones at the garage? What do you think, Tumblin Dice? Are you still with us? Might have lost him. Did we lose Tumblin Dice? Might have lost Tumblin Dice. Next time around, we'll see if they have cones at the garage and or requesting them to purchase a cone. But yeah, we talked about that before, and not using personal property in the workplace. This is why. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Did we get him? Let's see. Tumblin Dice. Let's see.
Yes, Gus, go ahead.
Oh, okay. We just had Nick over the road, and he had a suggestion about the cone. He reminded us one of the suggestions we've had before about not using personal property in the workplace. He said asking the school to purchase a cone so that you can operate the coach safely and park, where you need to, since you're responsible for all of that. That way we don't have this situation where they're accusing you of stealing the cone and all the rest of it. And I said, yeah, would they purchase a cone for you, and or does the school not, like in the garage, they don't have cones?
No, Gus. This was a situation where we had to secure our own parking because the parents were taking up our parking, and they were doing some construction on the school grounds where we usually park. So we had to find parking for our own personal vehicles. So I told my supervisor, I said, well, I'm going to, because when I get back from lunch, they take our parking. So my supervisor told me, well, as long as you find a way to secure your own parking, then you won't have any problems. So I took the initiative to go to Lowe's and buy me my own cone and everything just to secure my parking. So when I come from lunch in the evening, I'll have a parking to park my personal car. So the cone that I got looked just like the cone that they use over the where they're doing construction on the street. They're doing they're building new sidewalks on the street. So the cone that I bought looks just like the one from the construction company. So they thought I went and stole the cone from the construction company to use for my own personal space.
Wow. I still think that is, wow. That's what my first thought was like, wow, that is great. Like, I don't think I would have thought of that. He took the initiative. He even on the slides, like, I went and bought it from Lowe's. So that's exactly where he got it from.
Yeah.
But I was
Gus, sorry to interrupt, but the supervisor, they came to me suspiciously, oh, where do you get that cone from? How did you get it? I was just, talking. I didn't know that they, I thought it was innocent. Come to find out, they were, they were trying to figure out if I stole this thing. That's what made me angry. They were talking to me casually, like, "Oh, it's a nice cone, and where you got it from?" And all this. Next thing you know, man, they hem me up for stealing.
Diabolical.
Yeah, it's like what Nick over the road said. These people are diabolical, man. Next thing you know, they're calling me in and ganging up on me and saying, well, you must have stole the cone from over there because it looks just like that cone. Luckily, I had the receipt.
See, that brings me back. That gets me back focused correctly. I would have to ask, because I mean, hey, even if I do know some black people, they are meticulous. Like, they keep every receipt. It is neat, filed, organized, and they got the picture. So, hey, no problem. You can accuse me. Right here. Bought it July 14, 2025. Right here. 5:15 p.m. Got it. Like, okay, no problem. But I'm just saying, like, is that what is going to be required of me to avoid prosecution for theft? Like, what is the procedure if I had been lazy on that trip to Lowe's and did not have a receipt? What is the procedure for resolving this accusation? Like, I would need that answered. Like, come on. How many receipts am I obligated? What am I going to be accused of stealing tomorrow? I would have to ask that one now that I'm done snickering. Do you have an idea of what I might be accused of stealing tomorrow so that I can get my receipts organized? Like, hey, just give me a heads up. What do you think? I got a water cooler, shoestrings. What do you think?
Well, I told him, Gus, that this is the last straw. And I told my supervisor today, I said, you know what, man, I'm gonna sue you guys because now this is, now I'm a criminal in your eyes now. I said I've been accused of stealing weed whacker. I've been accused of stealing overtime twice now, and now this cone, and then I was accused of something else, but it's a litany of things that these people have put me through, and it's just gotten to the point where I say, and I told the supervisor, I say, you're going to be in a hot seat too, because I didn't steal that cone, and you nonchalantly try to bait me, into a situation now where, you're going to get me to say, well, I got that cone from over there. Then you're going to call the police and then, jam me up. You know what I'm saying? So I put him on notice now. I told him now that there's going to be some legal ramification now because this is clearly harassment, not only from them, but from the students too. You know what I'm saying? All the time.
That's right. I forgot the children participate too. My one recommendation for non-white people in general is if it gets to that point where you think, I might need to contact an attorney to pursue this matter legally, I don't think that needs to be broadcasted to white people in advance. If that's the course that you take, then, hey, they will be notified in due course. That is a part of the process. But that's not necessary at all, and sometimes it might make it worse because now they feel like, oh yeah, we really are going to go to work on this nigger in here talking about suing us, and who does he think that type of thing. So yeah, I would not. If that's, you might have already talked to an attorney and everything, no problem, no reason to say anything to them at all. In fact, it would be better so that they are totally surprised. You just go in, work, go about your business, and they find out when they are notified, served, as it were. But yeah, I wouldn't say anything about that at all. Metaphors, hot water. I mean, they're still white in a system of white supremacy racism. So, probably just thinking of what they're going to accuse you of stealing tomorrow. So, yeah, I'm a big advocate of question lane, not trying to shy away from statements because most of the time, I mean, yeah, we don't really have, it's not like we have an army behind us. They have a whole staff. The school, they will have a super legal team paid for partly with your tax dollars. So, yeah, they'll be fine. Even, I couldn't imagine with the worst, this white people don't get fired, they get transferred. So even at worst, if they said, you can't work here anymore, you can't supervise here anymore, you just go get a job someplace else and, recount the good old days when we accused that Negro of stealing weed whackers and construction cones and white women and like whatever they're going to come up with tomorrow. We're going to get something for Friday. Like we had the package of styrofoam cups in the back. Thank you. We're going to go root around in your trunk and see about our stuff. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The critical points where I did not snicker, I would ask, what is the procedure? Should I not have a receipt to prove this is not stolen property? And I would not forecast I'm going to sue or anything like that, or you're going to get it, you're going to be in hot. Try to not make statements anyway, but definitely no forecasting your future intents. Let it be a surprise, even though I know it is certainly frustrating to, daily accusations of all kinds of things like, wow. Let's see. Let me calm myself. We'll get in one email and then we'll nab our caller at the courthouse, *61. Other folks have a question. Okay. Let me see. Email number 1. Oh yeah. I'm definitely going to get pomegranate juice so that I can get my act together. Where's my email at? untiljustice@gmail.com. For folks who have commentary to write in, untiljustice@gmail.com. All right. Pomegranate juice. Best thing in the world. Okay. Hi, Gus and Cow's audience. Right Wing Ashley took 3 days sick leave, which I believe was an attempt to avoid attending the debrief on the issues that led to the complaint we received. I remember this from the last time that she wrote in when she told us that she said they were going to have we'll chat, talk about everything that's transpired. She said, my neuro diversity is acting up. I got to take the day off. And so they rescheduled it. And then she didn't come. My neurodiversity is still acting up. I received the company's response to the letter I sent last Friday, which included their revised proposal. The company acknowledged there were weaknesses in their proposal. They were not aware of the issues with their proposal and blamed their confusion and frustration on the misleading email they got from Right Wing Ashley. Boom! Misleading might not even be the correct term. What Fuller say? Master deceivers. Continues. Misleading email they got from Right Wing Ashley, which said nothing about those issues and said she didn't know when they would be told the outcome of our assessment. Lies. Her name wasn't mentioned, but she was named in the initial complaint as the only person who had been responding to queries. She had thrown everyone else in the team under the bus and given them the impression she was the only competent person working on their... Let's see what I said. Master deceiver. That is... Whoa. What my brother Brother Nick over the road, he's diabolical. Because she's not even competent. Neurodiverse, racist heifer. And she even make it sound like the white people working there are lame too. Dang. Continues. It seems their opinion has now changed. Neither Tristan nor Harry, who have read the response from the company, have asked or made mention of her incompetence, which led the team to receiving the complaint. I am not surprised because they know she's incompetent. Like, they hire her. They know, like, neurodiverse. We have weekly directorate meetings which each division gives updates on our progress and priorities for the week. We also acknowledge wins or the week and can recommend colleagues for a reward, vouchers, by putting their name into a chat. The winner is randomly selected. I recommended Amina for her help in getting the response to the complaint out. She had worked hard, but really it was because she had praised my leadership in front of Tristan, which has helped halt some of his racist practice. Cheers. Tristan had stopped nominating me for anything since last summer after I challenged Phoebe and Isabel's handling of right-wing Ashley's false allegations against me. He liked my nomination of Amina in Teams chat, then nominated me, right-wing Ashley, and Amina for the work we are doing to improve the division's procedures. I think he just wanted to acknowledge right-wing Ashley and make sure she didn't feel left out. Tristan is one of the ones that we got these old incompetent, lame employees. You know, I'm the only one that you can trust. He was one of the ones that she threw under the bus. Because it said everybody. Said it meant she was the only one that really knew what she was doing. Come on. Let's see. She caused the complaint and undermined me every step of the way, so there was no way I would nominate her for a bonus. But it worked out well as my name was selected. Woo! When only my name was called out, he interjected to say that he had nominated all three. Oh, that is so trifling. That is so trifling. Oh, that is so trifling. Ew, he's like, oh, we can't let the nigger woman have it on her own. We can't let the nigger woman. I did nominate three. They gonna let the nigger woman have it on her own. Oh, he was so mad. That is so trifling. That messed up his whole week. Like, oh, that right there, real talk, brother Nick over the road. That is diabolical too. Like, oh man, Jesus, I can't even just get my, and she threw him under the bus. Unless I didn't read that correctly. She said the whole team, all of y'all lame. I'm the only one here knows what they're doing. They're messing it up for y'all. Let's see. I was the only one given the prize. Shame, he was so upset. Right-wing Ashley returned to work on Tuesday as Monday is her study day. Whatever. She has not replied to my email response to her complaint that I demeaned and dismissed her. We had the first of our team meetings and she was polite and cooperative. Zoe and I used to say that she has multiple personalities, not in those words, and I believe humble right-wing Ashley was present at the team meeting. She is also in agreement that we shouldn't meet with the company or give them legal advice, a 180-degree shift from her previous stance and attempts to undermine my decisions. She also doesn't seem to be fazed by the company blaming her poor communication for the reason they submitted a complaint. She knows that's what it is. Dang, they didn't found me. Oh, well, I tried. Oh, well, moving on. Man. It might be that she's keeping her head down until after the debrief session, which is next Tuesday. We also have a follow-up meeting on Friday to review procedures. Oh, yeah, she's definitely going to be real humble until at least the end of next week. Let's see if she turns up to either meeting or I'm going to take the latter, goes off sick again. Interestingly, she has started throwing Fred under the bus, blaming him for telling her to do things that the lawyers have said are inappropriate. She also hasn't mentioned her FOIA concerns yet. Fred is the dude who was slacking for like years, plural, on this project. So that would be an easy target of the year. It's Fred been messing around. Man, that's so trifling. I did forward right-wing Ashley's complaint to Isabel and said I was happy to speak with her if she saw the need. Nothing. Not even an acknowledgement of the email. It's so trifling, like so much of this. She's been managing Right-Wing Ashley since last July, spanning 2 quarters and 2 performance appraisal periods. She was forced to ask for my feedback on Right-Wing Ashley's performance after I raised the fact that I was being told not to comment on her performance, which is highly unusual given that she reports to me on aspects of her work. That is extraordinarily unusual. I have never heard that before, where someone does report, subordinate, some might call that, and shh, you don't comment on this white girl. Shh. Why is my feedback not valued? Muzzled I am? Isabel emailed the request for feedback. I responded with my comments. Not even a thank you or acknowledgement that she received my email. This is very unusual. I was concerned about the delays and backlog, which Isabel minimized when she summoned me for my telling off last summer. Then came the complaint, which was inevitable and proves my concerns were justified. I'm not surprised by her lack of response and have no wish to speak to her, so I'm not upset or affected by her lack of acknowledgement. But I know her lack of engagement is very suspect and seems like the behavior of a racist. Check. Now, of course, I'm assuming the white folks are having lots of conversations about me in the background to be expected, even though this white, but like, what in the world? You wasted all this time. You wasted all this time, and how are you going to be like, oh, they don't know what they're doing? Like, none of us? What? Maybe if you just said the nigger woman, if they just blamed it all on, person who wrote this, oh, okay, whatever. You're going to make it seem like all of us are lame? You're going to lump us in with the nigger woman too? She should be the one. If there's going to be some gossiping, target number 1. How do you still even have a job here? Like, who hired you? Let's even rewind. Who was on the team that hired her? How did she get this job? That would be like all I'm like, that I'm all in. I am all in. Like, are you kidding me? You wasted all this time and you're going to try to, man, these folks lame. They don't know what they're doing. Triple T. And even Ansem, because she doesn't know what she's doing. Lying and sabotaging black people. The only part of her performance that is competent is the racism. Undermining a black supervisor and all that, A+. Everything else, she don't even come to work. She said she took 3 days off. You're not even reliable. Lame and unreliable. Like, come on. Anyway, untiljustice@gmail.com. Much obliged for the email. Let's see. Our caller at the courthouse in Florida should be with us. The number 720-716-7300. The code 564-943 pound. Press star 61 if you would like to participate. I just put a voice recorder on my wish list, untiljustice@gmail.com. Much obliged. Nick over the road sold me. He's been telling us to get one of those for years, but I put it on my wish list. I'm going to get my voice recorder to be ready to roll ASAP if I can get my voice recorder. Our caller at the courthouse should be with us as well.
Yes, sir. May I be heard?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Greetings to Gus, the host, the listeners, and callers. Gus, I'd like to share a couple of things that have been happening on the job. The first update is something that has been occurring, or something that occurred in the Newark courthouse, where a black female victim was made to come into a meeting from a black female supervisor, and she was heavily upset I think almost into where she was in tears, I think, because she had something revealed to her that she would have to look over 2 different departments, and the new department is, I guess, where they pay for the traffic tickets, and a white man, a suspected racist, was the person that was supposed to be the supervisor in that area, and now they are going to, I guess, transfer him. I'll use the word transfer, from that department back to another department toward the back area. And this person has an issue with calling in a lot and not being to work that often. So this black female apparently is, from what I was told, was heavily upset about this. So I hadn't gotten any more updates on this. That was one update I'd like to share. My second update is I'm not sure if I shared this one, but it's 2 females. One is a white female, and then you have a black female, but I think she does have a white parent, black parent. And this white woman was in an argument with a black female. I've never heard them describe this black female as a supervisor or any kind of assistant, coordinator or whatnot. They'll say lead worker, okay? They use those terms. So she was speaking with this white woman about making sure she stays close to the assigned desk she's been given. So I overheard this exchange, and so this white woman is pregnant, okay? And the black female is pregnant as well. So she got upset with this black lady for bringing up her having to stay at the assigned desk. Like, hey, she said you're gonna have to be fair across the board or whatever. Like, she's gonna have to start coming into work. So I was like, oh my goodness. So so the black female victim was walking out of the room, and then the white lady said, like, well, why are you staying on me? Why are you trying to accuse me of something? And she said, oh, I have the right to, or something. Okay. That was the response. So I'm like, okay, what's going on with this? So the other pregnant female has been coming into work more, but this white person been pointing out that she hadn't been coming into work. So, but both of them are pregnant. Okay. And then another white woman that was pregnant left on maternity leave and came back recently. So I wanted to point that out. My third one I like to share is another victim of racism brought it to my attention that a code was being used, I guess some kind of code to process documents going into a case. I guess they like guardianship type probate style cases. And the four letters were NIGA 05. So she pointed this out to a white person. She said the white person got a red face early on this week, And another white person was trying to say, well, you know, they might have been trying to do this, or they might have been trying to use this word to match up with a document. And the victim asked, well, what word or what title on the document in the file has these letters in it or has spelled out this way? And she couldn't respond. So she said she started asking questions. And apparently a white person brought about an email to her and was saying that I guess it was this kind of exchange going on, like how you just mentioned, Gus, to be expected that they're gonna have these talks and these conversations. So, oh man, but that's pretty much.
With the NIG 05, I'm just wait a minute. You said the white person got up after questions had been raised and all this. Did the white person get up to confirm that, yeah, this exchange has been going on using this NIGA 05 for a while? Is that what the white person got up to do? Uh-oh. Are you muted? Did we lose him? Let's see. Not hearing you. Caller at the courthouse. If you're still there, not hearing. If you hit your mute button, maybe accidentally or what have you, not hearing.
Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Yes, we got you now.
What was the question again?
The white person. So the incident, the final incident, I think, unless we missed some of it, the final incident where the NIGA 05, where the victim starts asking questions about this, did you say that a white person got up to confirm, like, yeah, there's been some whatever exchange or talking using this phrase NIGA 05? Is that what they said, or did they say something else?
It looks like a few of the people at the different departments got kind of nervous with having to speak about it. But the ones that spoke on it through parts of the online, secret machine type of confirm machines like that. And I just kind of learned about this, so I'm still kind of learning about it myself.
That is amazing. Still learning. That is amazing. NIGA 05. Wow. Still learning. And he said people got nervous. Why would they be nervous? Particularly if, the way that they thought, these are just, abbreviations for some of the legal paperwork we have here at the courthouse. It's nothing to get all in a tizzy about. Well, what form is that? What abbreviation is it exactly? Questions. We said that earlier. Asking questions. It might not, sometimes you might not even need a whole lot of questions. Might just be, a limited number, 2 or 3. What does it stand for? What form is that? That might have been it. Uh-oh. The jig is up. We about to be in trouble. What is going... Now, again, if it's not all of that, what does it stand for? What are y'all talking about? Who is it? Man, they got the click up there. Like, is this something beyond the click? What is going on at the courthouse? Ask questions. Can't say that one enough. The first one where he started off where he said the black female looked really upset, like she might be on the verge of tears, where I thought he said that she was going to be taking over 2 departments, where I was thinking, is that good? Like, unless they're going to make you do it and you're not getting a raise, then I can see now that's, that is not cool. That is not cool at all. Which they do to a lot of victims of racism in the workplace. Give us old lame assignments. They give us 2 or 3 assignments, but they give us the wages of one person. Then accuse us of wage theft. But yeah, unless I heard that right, if she's going to be supposedly taking over 2 departments, I was thinking, oh, that should be great. But then I was thinking, oh, a lot of times they do that and it is not good. Is she taking over 2 departments? Is that what you said for the black female?
It looks like that's how they're going to have it happen. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I don't think that she's going to be getting any kind of money raise or anything like that, as far as I remember hearing about. So they're going to try and make it easier for the white guy that was formerly in that traffic area and send them to a back area toward the back. So, you know, it'll be harder for the victim of racism, and, you know, he can just be easily relaxed in wherever that new area they say he's going to be going to.
Dang. That makes sense for why one would be upset about all of that. That sounds like the setup that they should have had for my sick white brother, the one just like me, say he's unprofessional, doesn't know how to talk to people. That's the sort of thing he should have had. Like, we'll get him a little secretary type thing, do all the work, and then we can get, you know, things done in a timely manner. Because I think he had like an important job with like accounting or budget, payroll, something like that that's real serious. But that, like, man, like, that is so plantational. Like, he gets to go and chill, and then I have to do 2 jobs. And of course, like I said, like, it may be this a little stressful, but if I'm gonna get the wages of supervising 2 departments, hey, we're going to get, you know, extra Brussels sprouts. Like, right on. But no, this is the same old. Now you have 2, it sounds like probably 2 kind of stressful jobs, so that a lazy white man who might be very similar to the dude I just mentioned, incompetent, don't know how to talk to people, and hey, now I got a nigger woman do all the work. I can just come back here and put my feet up and, you know, yell at her, work faster, get that done. Put my, like, man, that is lame, like extra lame. System of white supremacy on display right there. The 2 females, where it was the white woman pregnant and the non-white female with a white parent, and they, I guess, got into it or what have you, and the white woman is pregnant. Like, I could see where that, even forget the pregnancy for the moment, white women, particularly in the workplace, are so dangerous, lawless. Tumblin Dice had been accused of raping one of them at the school, and just they provide a variety of dangers. So, like, oh man, man, and to have a pregnant white woman, like, you talk about a group that is, you know, all about entitlement. You told us before, I think he went to like the post office. This wasn't even a coworker, and she just saw him like, oh, here, nigga boy, fetch my package up there with the shit. Like, that's just, you know, us in life, period, much less like work situation or what have you. So I can imagine she might be like insufferable at this point, like pregnant white woman, and this is supposed to be my area, and this is going to be the exact way I want it to be, and blah blah blah, and all the rest of it. Like, oh man, like why? And I would even now, if our caller at the courthouse, if he has sussed out that this non-white female does have a white parent, even though she's not white, I'm very sure the white people at the courthouse, they are aware of this too. Even if she doesn't broadcast this and have, like, I don't know, her one white parent come up to the courthouse or have pictures and such of her family showing off her white relatives, if it's that noticeable that he thinks she has a white parent, it's been my experience that the white people do too, and they can be very manipulative about all of this in terms of how they can victimize and use these non-white people, victims of racism, because they know, oh, they have a white parent, so they'll probably have some emotional connections to white people, and they certainly will. That not all white people are racist. And they can use racist. They can use that to their advantage, and something may have gone awry. Maybe she wasn't willing to, go along with pregnant white woman, all of her whims and needs for the day. And he said they got a number of pregnant white people at the courthouse. That can, especially if it's all pregnant white women. I forgot if he had some non-white ones in there too, but man, that can respect for mommies for sure. But man, I mean, they are bringing another generation of race soldier, and I have seen how some of those white women, they are manipulative, period, white women. Let them get pregnant. Like, oh my God, like we got to change the whole work area. Like, what? Wait a minute, man. What is going on? Anyway, hopefully y'all can get through all of that safely. Everybody can do their pregnancy thing, and we can work conflict free. And if anything, we can figure out what all the NIGA 05, what is that? Who is in the conversation? What is that all about? More questions. We'll think of even more of them. He said he was still learning. Sound like the young lady who was asking all the questions. She was still learning live time because they were sitting there live. And you would have to be learning live time when you have people who are lying to you and saying, oh, no, this ain't racism. You just, confused, which is kind of always what it doesn't matter what it is. They can go lynch Leroy and say, it looks like that's racist. No, that's not what it is. You're just confused. Huh. If it's not racism, what is it? They normally have a good set of lies to now, and they normally in the workplace, what I said before, you gotta say something. Now that's not the best way of phrasing it. It should be you want to say the best thing that you can according to counter-racist codification to solve problems. That's a better way. But you have to say something. If this had been one of those, oh man, the victim that we were told about where he said, man, I don't know. I have to go in there and talk to these white people. They didn't give me my check for my bonus. I'll miss out on this one. They have so victimized us. They've so terrorized us where so many of us, I don't want to say nothing. They said that about the non-white, non-black people, that they call the ICE folks on to come and arrest them and take them off to what they call it, alligator Alcatraz and all that old nonsense, put you in some concentration camp. Said even the folks that are documented, said they scared. Rightfully so, but scared. I don't want to say nothing. That might be your black self-respect. I have to say something. That young lady, I think you said it was a young lady. That young lady, she could have been, I'm scared. I ain't going to upset these white people. Ooh, I got me a good court job, reliable, regular paycheck, got benefits at maternity leave. Had me like the way they treat him, young fella that called in had him gossiping about me. She didn't do that. She just started asking questions. What, the obvious ones. What is this? What do you mean this is an abbreviation? Abbreviation for what? What form is it talking about? Obvious question. Like I said, learning live time. But wait a minute, this doesn't even, it sounds like you lying to me right now. Who's involved in the chat? I might have some more questions once I get these answers. I might have some more. What? And we're at the courthouse again. I feel like I have to say that about once every 6 months or so. If this was like Arby's, the brothel, local tavern, it would still be unjust. But we'll get to it when we get to it. This is the courthouse. They talk about justice here every day. Or I thought what they look like they talking about is niggers every day. Or they got nigga, Niga 05. What's the 05 for? And see, I'd have a whole lot of questions. It's like a whole lot. Are you all counting the niggers at the courthouse? Like, is this nigger number 5? Is there nigger number 6? Nigger number 17? Like, what? Woo! I'm going to get my act together. That's what I'd be thinking, though. Like, what is this? What am I looking at? And that's such a metaphor for white supremacy racism. That is us, non-white. The whole room where the white people, they know they're not going to tell you. Or they lie. They're going to misinform you about what this is. We got to sit there and guess. Ask. Go look online. Nigga 05 and what? I'm still learning myself. But I will say, any work environment, even if you work at the federal court, the Supreme Court, Arby's, I would expect this sort of behavior. All sorts of racist jokes and racist emails, racist texts. That might even be what it is. They might have numbered all of the niggers who work at the courthouse. You might be nigger number 5. She might be nigger number 5. Who knows? Anyway, he had already told us this is the same place where they got the click. That's why I said, so is this a click thing? Or is there a group bigger than the clique? Is this just all the white people at the courthouse? That's a clique unto itself. And they, got this thread where they talk about where they have they numbered and branded all of the niggers at the courthouse? Nigger 5, nigger 6, nigger 7. Yeah, I might be being ignorant on that one too, but we shall see. I cannot wait till they have the next meeting. Hopefully they'll discuss this so we get more information. Much obliged our caller at the courthouse. Let's see. If we missed anyone, *61, if they had commentary to share, if they had any commentary. Did anybody have commentary to share before we get ready to wrap up? Brother Nick over the road said, get your voice recorder. Got mine on my Amazon wish list. Gus T. Renegade. It is linked at my blog, racism-notes.blogspot.com. You'll see the link for my wish list at the top of the page. You'll see also the links for PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo. You'll see my blog review of the new movie Primate from this year, the commentary about President Obama being a monkey by our current president as well. But hit the blog. I'm going to use that voice recorder immediately. Much obliged for all the folks who wrote in, called in, hopefully worthy of your Thursday evening. I will say again, composure. That came up in a lot of different ways. Even had the young lady he mentioned who was almost brought to tears, and I got to have 2 departments for some trifling, lazy, racist white man, and y'all are not going to compensate me or give me a raise? Composure came up in a lot of different ways, and even the going to tell these white people, I've had it up to here, and I'm going to sue you all. My suggestion would be to avoid making those sort of statements. We don't have an army, and really that might encourage white people to do more mistreating. If they really believe that is the case, let's see if we can get them out of here or make them quit before then, or stress them out even more on top of it. If you are going to file a suit, file your suit. You don't need to announce or let them know or tip them off. None of the above. It would probably be better for you to not let them know in advance what your intentions are to file, not file, all the rest of it. Do what you're going to do. Let's see. We'll be here on Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Catherine Massey Book Club, brand new book tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll be here Saturday, compensatory call-in, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll be here Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And Monday is a little goofy. Actually, Sunday and Monday are both a little goofy because I think Sunday our guest classified as white joining us from Australia, and then our guest on Monday, I'm not sure about the racial classification. She'll be joining us from Spain. I can't really brag too hard on either of these because we've had guests on the program from Australia before and we've had guests on the program from Spain before. I just said it's a little weird with the times and all of that, especially the Spain guests, because we've had guests on before from Spain and they were white, neat, unambiguous, not confusing. Now we got a guest joining us from Spain. I'm not sure. So confusing for lots of reasons. And then the time zone and confusing for lots of reasons. But the common thread, system of white supremacy all over the world. But every day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, for Negro History Month. Much obliged again for the folks who tuned in. If you have commentary, drop an email untiljustice@gmail.com. Sobriety would be best, especially you get stressed out in the workplace. They've, falsely accused you of this, you've stolen this, or you tried to rape a white woman, or you've embezzled all the funds. Whatever it is, I don't think going to the bar, happy hour, going home to make your own concoctions, I don't think that is the best way to respond to the system of white supremacy racism. You only have a limited amount of liver to yield. You need your kidneys. Matter of fact, on Chadwick Boseman, put the alcohol down. Be healthy in how we deal with our stress, especially now that it's getting a little bit warm. Hey, it ain't going to be 4 degrees longer, so we can get outside, get some hiking in, get a little exercise, swimming, lots of different ways to deal with stress that do not involve the mad dog. Creator, it has been time. Remind us, stop saying not all white people are racist. Remind us, stop name-calling people classified as black. Stop producing throwaway offspring to be raped by Mary Kay, drowned by Susan Smith. Stop gossiping. It has been time. Replace white supremacy with justice immediately. Cow signing out. Thanks all for tuning in.
Nigga, you so brainwashed. I'm a victim, brother. No problem. You're a victim. I'm a victim of 400 years of conditioning. Shut up. The man has programmed my conditioning. Even my conditioning has been conditioned.